When it comes to dark fantasy, few worlds are as brutal, disturbing, and awe-inspiring as the world of Berserk. Kentaro Miura's legendary manga doesn't just give us heroes like Guts. It gives us villains who are monstrous, godlike, and often horrifyingly complex. These aren't your average bad guys. They're symbols of fate, chaos, and evil itself. Welcome back to your nerdy show anime. I'm your host, Anshu Heem. In this video, we're diving into the 10 most powerful villains in Berserk, beings you'd never want to face, even in your nightmares. Wild, the savage beast of the Black Dog Knights. Wild may not rank among the apostles in terms of strategy or finesse, but when it comes to sheer brutality and raw power, he's unforgettable. As the leader of the Black Dog Knights, Wild is a chaos engine, unhinged, grotesque, and utterly merciless. His apostle form resembles a towering, monstrous, gorilla-like demon with regenerative abilities, immense physical strength, and zero restraint. What makes Wild terrifying isn't just his strength, it's his cruelty. He revels in torment, turning every battlefield into a slaughterhouse. Even Guts struggled to hold him off, and it took Zodd's intervention to finally kill him. In many ways, Wild represents the lowest, most animalistic aspect of evil, a preview of the horrors to come. Irvine, the demon archer with deadly precision. Irvine doesn't roar or rampage like many apostles, but he doesn't need to. A member of Griffith's reborn Band of the Hawk, Irvine is the embodiment of silent death. He's an apostle sniper who uses a massive bow with lethal precision, often picking off enemies from such a distance they never know what hit them. His calm, almost indifferent demeanor makes him even more chilling. While others rage and boast, Irvine simply eliminates. In apostle form, his lower body becomes serpentine and monstrous, allowing for rapid movement and enhanced strength. He's not the most powerful in raw combat, but in a real war, he's the kind of threat who changes the tide before anyone sees it coming. Grunbeld, the unbreakable flame dragon. Grunbeld is the tank of Griffith's apostle army, both figuratively and literally. Towering and armored like a living fortress, Grunbeld wields a massive warhammer and commands fire-based attacks. His apostle form is a giant, fire-breathing dragon encased in nearly indestructible armor. During the Guts versus Grunbeld fight, we saw just how impenetrable this behemoth is. Not only does he shrug off powerful strikes, but he also fights with tactical precision. He isn't a mindless brute. He's a war general with centuries of battle experience. If not for Guts' berserker armor, their battle might have ended very differently. Grunbeld represents pride and immovability, an unrelenting enemy that refuses to fall. Locus, the Moonlight Knight turned demonic centaur. Locus once rode into battle as a gallant knight, and even after becoming an apostle, he retains that regal, composed demeanor. But don't be fooled. Locus is one of the most terrifying warriors in Griffith's army. His apostle form transforms him into a centaur-like creature with razor-sharp rotating lance appendages capable of cutting down entire armies. What sets Locus apart is his incredible speed and agility. He combines grace and devastation in equal measure, striking with elegance and leaving only carnage behind. He fully believes in Griffith's divine right and has no moral hesitation about killing anyone who stands in the way. Locus is terrifying, not just because of his power, but because of his unwavering loyalty to a false god. Rakshas. The shadow that hunts Rakshas is unlike any other apostle. A former assassin from the Kushan Empire, he turned into a demon who moves like a shadow and kills without sound. He's often shown clinging to ceilings, walls, or simply vanishing into darkness. His apostle form is nearly amorphous, allowing him to contort, elongate, or flatten his body to evade attacks and strike from any angle. What makes Rakshas so dangerous is his unpredictability. He doesn't follow conventional combat logic. He doesn't roar, boast, or even give you a chance to react. He's an eerie, quiet killer with a twisted sense of humor and a deep fascination with death. Among apostles, Rakshas is the one you'd never even see coming, and that makes him one of the deadliest. Zodd, the immortal demon of war. The immortal is a Berserk legend, a warrior who has survived for centuries and fought countless battles just to test his strength. When Guts first meets Zodd, it's one of the most terrifying moments in the series. That battle left a mark on Guts forever, both mentally and physically. Zodd's apostle form is a massive winged minotaur with unstoppable force. He's a living engine of destruction who only respects those strong enough to challenge him, namely Guts and Skull Knight. But Zodd isn't just brawn, he has a warrior's honor, making him one of the more complex villains in the series. Even after all these years, Zodd hasn't been defeated, and with every appearance, he reminds us why he's one of Berserk's most enduring threats. Ganishka, the god king of the Kushan Empire. While most apostles follow Griffith, Ganishka dared to oppose him, and in doing so, transformed himself into a godlike monstrosity. Ganishka used a massive behalit and dark magic to transcend his apostle form, becoming a monstrous storm of flesh, lightning, and fog called Shiva Ganishka. His mere presence twisted reality, spawning hordes of demonic creatures and distorting the world itself. He was so massive that cities disappeared within his body. Only Griffith could defeat him by using Ganishka's death to trigger the merging of the physical and astral worlds known as the World Transformation. Ganishka's ambition was his downfall, but his power was undeniable. He was the only apostle who dared to defy fate and nearly became a god in his own right. Griffith, the Falcon of Light, or the devil in human skin. Few characters in fiction match Griffith's complexity. Once a charismatic leader with noble dreams, Griffith sacrificed his comrades during the eclipse to become Femto, a member of the God Hand. From that moment, he ceased being human and became a force of destiny. As Femto, Griffith has reality warping powers. He can manipulate gravity, warp space, and crush enemies without lifting a finger. But what makes him truly terrifying is his ability to manipulate people. Even after returning to the world in human form, he builds an empire, gains public worship, and masks his atrocities behind a messianic image. Griffith is the smiling face of tyranny, the kind of villain who wins while believing he's righteous. He doesn't just kill his enemies, he breaks them from the inside out. The God Hand, architects of human suffering. The God Hand is not a group of traditional villains. They are conceptual. Void, Slan, Ubik, Conrad, and Femto operate on a level far beyond mortals. They don't fight battles with swords. They rewrite fate, orchestrate despair, and manipulate causality. Each one represents a different aspect of human corruption: lust, deception, decay, nihilism, and ambition. Their power is incomprehensible. They exist within the interstice between the physical and astral worlds and can only appear when reality thins, such as during eclipse events. They offer humans the chance to sacrifice others for power, perpetuating the endless cycle of darkness. They are the puppeteers behind every major tragedy in the series, including the eclipse. You can't fight the God Hand. You can only try to survive the path they've laid for you. The idea of evil, the hidden god behind it. All at the very top of Berserk's villain hierarchy lies the idea of evil, a mysterious, godlike entity that exists outside of space and time. Though it only appeared in a single, removed chapter, it's widely believed to be canon to the core philosophy of Berserk. This being is said to be the very embodiment of humanity's desire to assign meaning to suffering. The idea of evil is responsible for creating the God Hand and guiding fate. It doesn't just manipulate events, it is the blueprint behind human despair. It thrives on the belief that pain must have a purpose. As long as humans seek answers to their suffering, this entity will continue to control their destiny. It is unknowable, unreachable, and omnipresent. The scariest part? You might be feeding it just by asking why. Our nerdy thoughts. The villains of Berserk are more than just obstacles for Guts to overcome. They're metaphors for human weakness, ambition, and cruelty, twisted reflections of our darkest desires. From brutal apostles like Zodd and Grunbeld to eldritch horrors like the God Hand and the idea of evil, Berserk forces us to stare directly into the abyss. And in that abyss, we find monsters who are sometimes all too human. Which villain do you think is the most terrifying? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of Berserk.